This is the new ID Buzz, and it's the cure, my friends, the cure for the oversized yet somehow cramped, boring, samey, annoying SUV that had been clogging up our streets for too damn long. This is the car that asks the question, just how much room can I give you to play with? And I do say car quite deliberately, because this one I have here, it's not really a minibus or a van, it is just a very, very roomy 5-seater family car. There's going to be a million ID Buzz variants over the next few years. Bigger ones, smaller ones with larger batteries. We're going to have vans and campers, and they're even talking about doing a pickup truck, which would be fantastic. But I want to zoom in on this particular model today, because I have a suspicion that what I have here is not just one of the best and most practical electric family haulers, but one of the most charming and entertaining ones too. Shall we find out? This is the new VW ID Buzz. That by the way, is Denmark. Forgot to mention that. And this is the Fully Charged show.
Fully Charged Live is coming to California this September the 10th and 11th, powered by Electrify America. Get your tickets to the #1 EV and home energy show now.
Stop me if you think you've ever seen a more cheerful looking face on a car in your life. Isn't this just the biggest, happiest boy you ever did see? Interestingly, a senior VW person came out in the media recently and announced that they would be very proactively designing happy looking cars only going forward. They're off to a good start. And I really like that, actually. Modern car design is all very mean and angular. So a smiley face on the road is a welcome sight, and we have attracted many a smile driving around Denmark so far today. Now there's two things I kind of want to focus on generally in this video. That is the enormous practicality and the feel-good factor. We'll start with the latter because you can sort of see it for yourself, can't you? Look at this fantastic, cheerful, two-tone paint job, very reminiscent of the old Bulli van. You can have orange, turquoise, dark blue, black, or snot green, I believe, for the bottom half if you go two-tone. You can just have all one colour, which I think is a bit of a crime, although I did see an all blacked out one this morning, which looked fantastic. Just a happy looking car. Coming around the side, sort of looks enormous because of that bus shape, but actually at 4.7 metres, it's almost exactly the same length as a Ford Mustang Mach-E. It's only a few centimetres longer than a Kia EV6. It's sort of medium to large SUV size. Wheels pushed right out to the edges, as you'd expect from an MEB platform car, as you'd expect from a VW bus. And the result of that is, frankly, ridiculous amount of cabin space. There is so much room in there. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. What else? Powered rear sliding doors. I really love this. Look at this little ID Buzz motif on the seat here. That is really, really, really cute. Coming around the back, bit annoyed by this. Why is the charge port there? Why isn't it behind the huge badge on the front? Not really sure. There are going to be certain parking spaces where that's going to annoy you because you may not be able to reach with your charge cable. Just put them at the front. All cars. Can we? Anyway. Boot. I know you want to see the boot. This is the boot to end all boots, my friend. Underneath the parcel shelf, 1,121 litres of boot space. For context, this car is almost exactly the same length as a Mach-E, but it has 3.5 times more boot. That's just under the parcel shelf. There's also all of this, and then if you fold those rear bench seats down flat, 2,123 litres of boot space. It's so much boot that you can do things like this. You can sort of add this shelf situation, have 2 floors of boot. It's bloody massive. And this is cool. Look at this. Look at this. A little powered tow hook. Look at that. And this thing can tow a ton. Proper adventure vehicle, if you're into that sort of thing. Shall we to the inside? Inside the ID Buzz, that feel-good factor continues. It's a really cheerful looking cabin, this. I think the nicest looking cabin we've seen on an ID car so far. Lots of bright colours to match the exterior. It doesn't feel quite as good as it looks, but it strikes me as robust and easy to wipe down and live with, and I'm okay with that, and it does look really, really nice. Adore these chairs, big squashy captain's chairs, and again, practicality like you wouldn't even believe. I mean, where to start? Storage absolutely everywhere. Huge glove box, nice little shelf there. This is, oh, I've accidentally just pressed that button there to open the rear doors. We're going with it. This is a double cup holder, and it fits even my comedically large water bottle, and it's just a nice big kind of chunky robust thing. It doesn't feel like it's going to break the first time you touch it. That makes me happy. Little shelf here, USB ports in the door, little storage for the key, 2 door bins. We've got a little tiny one which is close to you, and we've got a really big one where you could fit a bucket of water, let alone a large water bottle. Center console, yet more storage. These things are adjustable, so you can decide how big you want the little space. Customary weird ashtray bin type situation that comes with every new German car for some inexplicable reason. This makes me very happy. As a former Mark V Golf owner, the bottle opener has returned. Never once in my life did I crack a bottle of beer open in my Golf because I was driving. But this does make me happy, and it'll make a lot of nostalgic VW folk very happy. And then, if you don't fancy this at all, you can just pull the whole thing out, get rid of it. Just have a bit of daylight between you and your passenger. Why can you remove this? Not sure. Are there other things you can put in? Maybe. Probably should have checked that before turning the camera on. I'll just put a word down here on the screen that says yes or no, so that you know. Out on the road in the ID Buzz, you're going to see a big, stupid grin on my face quite a lot today. And that's saying something, because I am naturally frowny. But I can't be in this car. It just makes you happy. We've got to start with the driving position and the view out. It is delightful. I am absolutely cocooned in glass. That the glass comes all the way down to sort of my elbow. The view out is spectacular. I can't really explain to you what it is about the windscreen being so far away, and the knowledge that where the windscreen is, the car ends, that makes it so joyous to drive. But it just does. These little windows here, it's such a lovely view out, and I'm lording over the road in my big captain's chair. SUV people, all those things you like about driving an SUV, the high riding position, the sense of authority on the road, multiply it by 5 and you've got yourself an ID Buzz. Now, the more keen-eyed among you may notice that we've done a lot of really efficient, slippery electric vehicles on the Fully Charged show recently. Aptera, Mercedes EQXX, Lightyear Zero. We've been really interested in covering very, very efficient electric cars that just sip on their batteries very frugally. And to that end, you may think, well, surely this thing is very annoying to me then with its big blobby shape and relatively inefficient performance. Relatively. We'll come back to that later. But it doesn't. I think it's delightful because it's just a different version of clever design. That's what we like to see here at Fully Charged. Clever design. Those Lightyears and those Aptera, they are focused on giving you every last mile of range out of the battery that they have. This ID Buzz, this is obsessed with giving you every last cubic centimetre of space for its wheelbase. And what this huge space gives you is a car that's just really lovely to be in, to drive, to sit in as a passenger, but also a sense that you could just do anything. I think this is why Americans love pickup trucks so much. It's that idea of whatever this day throws at me, my car is equipped for it. I could pop a couple bikes in the back and go for a ride. I could pop a surfboard in the back and go to the beach. I could move house. I could head up to the Scottish Highlands with an air mattress and just camp out for a few days. It's a proper go anywhere adventure vehicle. that road just ended. Oh, but look at this turning circle! And it's just a rock solid EV platform. Decent sized battery, 77 odd kilowatt hours, speedy charging, pretty good range, nice to drive, and of course, it being bespoke, all the space in the world. And efficiency, let's talk about that, because you would expect it to be pretty subpar in a car this shape. But actually, by my calculations, we've been doing around 2.7 miles to the kilowatt hour during today's driving, which is only slightly less than my Polestar. Really not bad at all. And that efficiency should, per the calculations of our mates over at EV Database, afford you some 230, 250 miles of real world range. That's combined motorway and city driving. Proper go anywhere range to match the proper go anywhere capabilities of this gigantic interior. And that's what I really love about the Buzz. I think you really can market this thing as just a big 5-seater electric estate car, because it does that so ably that even if you're not the outdoorsy type who goes mountain biking from time to time, even if you just have quite a lot of children and they have quite a lot of things and you often run out of boot space, I can wholeheartedly say this is a fantastic family wagon. Backseat jack test. Could this dethrone the Ford F-150 Lightning for the mostest back room ever? Now, this is actually further back than my driving position, because when you turn the car off, the seat kind of slides back to give you more room to get out. And as you'd expect, I've just got a frankly ridiculous amount of space back here. This is roomy. This is roomy, and it's the headroom for me. This is just, I'm so not used to having this much space in the back of a car. And it's just that feel-good factor. There's something about the big boxy shape that just makes it a really cheerful space. Combine that with the colour scheme and the amount of glass, the amount of daylight. I'll tell you what would be really nice, given the price, which we'll get to a bit later, is a gigantic panoramic sunroof. That really would make it feel like I was pretty much outside. But even so, really like it back here. More practicality, we've got a little pocket there for your phone, we've got a bigger one back there. This shelf I mentioned, drawer, not a shelf, that's a drawer. Very useful for rear seat occupants. These are a bit yucky, a little bit Ryanair, if you ask me. Again, there are a few things that you touch in here that you are a bit underwhelmed by the quality of, given the price. But excusable, just about. So there's a feature I'd very much like to try on the ID Buzz. VW claims this car has one of the most advanced park assist features on any car on sale today. Yes, it can detect parking spots and back itself into them. That's pretty common practice these days. But this car has a memory function where you can essentially navigate your weird driveway, for example, hit save, and then next time the car will do it for you. Now again, this is not brand new. BMWs allegedly can do this, but A, they can only do it reversing, and B, when they demonstrated it at a press event a couple of years ago, everyone crashed. So let's try this out, shall we? I'm going to invent a really elaborate driveway, and then I'm going to save it and we'll see if the car can do it. So this is me this time. Going into the park assist menu, and I'm going to save that test with a Z because I can't spell. Right, that's saved. So now, if I go back to roughly the same spot, the car should be able to just do that I just did by itself. I'm roughly in position. It's fair to say I'm not exactly where I was before, but the car is showing the option to engage the memory function, which means I'm close enough that the car is happy to give it a go. So, that's the car steering. I now take my foot off the brake. Oh God, it's going straight for the stone. Okay, we're through. It's not me, not doing it. Round the big rusty boy. I was a bit quicker than this, but caution is no bad thing, I suppose. Careful, Andy, you may trigger it a little bit if you stand there. Here we go. Still not me. Okay, nice. So that's the easy bit done. So we should now go into reverse. Here we go. Oh, I'm nervous about this bit. So what we're looking for is a fairly tight line, hugging that ID Buzz cargo and then just slotting in next to it. Still not me. I'm not doing the pedals, I'm not doing anything. I haven't touched the brake. Oh, this is about to be very expensive. Come on, round you come, round you come. Oh. Oh, that's neater than when I did it. Whoa! Oh, okay, that was actually very impressive. Now fix the infotainment. Now, it's all been very sunshine and rainbows so far in this review, and rightly so, because, well, frankly, it's hard not to be smiley and upbeat when you're driving this car, but allow me to return to my usual grumpy self and offer a few criticisms of the ID Buzz, because this isn't perfect. This, I mean, I'll keep it short because I could go on forever about how not good the general user interface is across these ID models. I wish that they'd been brave and just fixed a few things for this new car. Make these physical buttons, make them light up so I can see them at night. Make these physical buttons so I don't press them by accident when I'm crossed up steering, but they haven't done. And unfortunately, we are just going to have to wait till the next generation of ID cars to see that fixed. And until then, it is just a big black mark against VW's electric cars. It's not the end of the world. You'll get over it, but it'll annoy you from time to time. These are the facts. Aside from that, I think it's quite strange that the rear windows don't open, given that this is a 5-seater family car. Children like air sometimes, I'm told. And then there's the big one. It's a big number. It's the price. The ID Buzz in this configuration with the rear seats starts at £57,000, which is a lot. And if you've been getting really excited watching this video about taking one out on your gap year and traveling around South America in it, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It may be out of your budget. Now, that price isn't too shocking. It's 10 grand more than a T7 multivan, which is sort of the petrol equivalent that VW offers. But it does make it quite hard to know what to compare this to. What should I suggest that people buy this instead of? Well, I think there's two groups. I think first and foremost, it's the outdoorsy types, the adventure types. For those guys, this thing sells itself. It goes without saying that if you are into a bike ride in the woods of a weekend, a bit of a surf, and you're looking for an electric vehicle, this is basically the one. You do get a lot of boot space in an ID.4, in a Skoda Enyaq, but this is a different level of versatility, purely because of that big boxy shape and the amount of room that you get in here. But what I love about the Buzz is it's not compromised as a normal car. It's not freakishly large. It's not nightmarish to drive or impossible to squeeze down a narrow road. And what that means is it can just serve as a really, really roomy family car for the family that once a year decides to go on a camping trip, drive to the Alps for a skiing holiday. So I would genuinely urge you, if you're in the market for a slightly posher electric family car type thing, before throwing all that cash at a iX3 or an I-Pace or an e-tron, have a look at one of these. It's not got the same sort of premium materials that you've come to know and love, but actually, what makes you feel more luxury? A bit of posh metal on the dash, or space. Concluding thoughts then. Well, concluding thought number one, I'm moving to Denmark. Oh, bit nice here. As for this thing, decisively my favourite ID car that we've seen yet. Decisively. It takes that rock solid EV platform we know and love from the ID3 and ID4 and it adds a big old dollop of charm that is somewhat missing from its siblings. It's not perfect and that price is a little bit eye-watering, but if you can afford it, you'll smile every time you drive it. And whether you're just popping down the road for a pint of milk or heading deep into the wilderness for a weekend of adventure, you will always be in the right car for the job. So there we go, the ID Buzz, the spacey boy. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and if you have been, thank you for watching.